So we're going to talk about home inspection right now. Hi, Ernie. How you doing?
Oh, pretty good, Simon. Nice to see you.
Nice to see
Uh,
you. So you have done many home inspection in your lifetime and my lifetime. So let's talk about it. What's going on today in this crazy market?
okay, well, welcome. I'd like to thank you for inviting me to talk today. The topic I have is expectations. So give me about 4 minutes to explain, and then we'll open up for questions. For those that don't know me, Ernie Borsellino, Vault for Home Inspections. I've been doing home inspections now for 34 years, and I still love my job. I feel that I'm doing a great service for buyers and sellers, letting them know the condition of the home and what they should expect in the future in regard to maintenance, life expectancies of the equipment. So expectations, I'm also a New Jersey State licensed electrician, licensed radon tester, pesticide applicator for termite inspections. And all of this, of course, comes with a price because as home inspectors, we have to do 20 hours of continuing education a year. In addition, I have to do 12 hours a year for my electrical license, 4 hours radon, 10 hours termites. I do PowerPoint presentations to home inspectors. I teach at the adult school to homeowners. So every year I'm trying to learn something new. So even at this presentation, I like to listen to everything and what everybody has to say, and it makes you a better person and better at your job. When I first started doing home inspections in 1988, our main concern was the roof, heating, AC, plumbing, and electrical. Then .com came along and software came to make our lives easier. Well, now we take pictures of everything from a door that sticks to a chipped floor tile. Our 11-page home inspection reports for some inspectors is over 70 pages. We call that CYA. I try to limit my inspection reports to 30 pages. The question is, what's the expectation of home inspectors should be? Like a condo inspection should be simple, but believe me, it's never ever simple. We have to inspect the interior. We have to inspect the furnace, water heater, windows, doors, electrical break, just like a house, but we're just not inspecting the outside. A new home, people say, I don't need a home inspection because it's brand new. I've done two now in the last month for a builder who's building new homes in Short Hills, and he wants me to come out there, which I have done, to go over and look at it from a home inspector perspective and let them know what a home inspector might think or find or what they would report. An old home is an old home, and buyers need to understand it's an old home. Yes, it's been updated, renovated, but the main thing, an experienced home inspector should be able to look at the settlement in the home. Is this normal, not normal, and is it something of concern? We have flip houses out there. Are they just a cover up? These are the hardest to inspect because we know the home was purchased for the sole reason to buy and sell as quickly as possible. None of the components of the home was replaced, including heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical. It hasn't been used on a daily basis to evaluate it. It was last month. I did one in Short Hills, ran all the bathrooms and came down to the kitchen. There was water dripping from the ceiling onto the countertop of this, $150,000 kitchen. They called the builder, he came, and yeah. So there was a drain from the shower that wasn't connected right. It's in the walls. And, I'm glad I found it. It was kind of like we had towels or cleaning up everything. But if we didn't find it now, that new home, those people moved into expecting nothing to happen. As soon as they took a shower the first week or so, they would have been opening up the ceiling while they're living there and a lot of renovations. There's a lot of stuff like asbestos. I'm just gonna on these points. Asbestos was a big deal, back in the 80s, 90s, when every home had some amount of asbestos. Now most asbestos in homes have been renovated, so I really don't find it that much. And keep in mind, a home inspector by New Jersey regulations does not have to report on asbestos. A good educated, trained inspector will point it out, but we don't have to. So if someone moves in a home and they find asbestos, they can't go back to the home inspector and say, why didn't you tell me? Lead paint was big in the 90s with these guns. They would shoot the walls, tell you what percentage of lead was in there. Nobody does lead paint inspections anymore because houses have been painted. The interior has been painted. If there's lead in the walls behind the paint, do we really care? Yeah, we might care about old windows that go up and down and create dust, but most of the windows have been replaced by now. Underground oil tank, something I don't do. I think you should hire someone that does it for a living. I think that should be done on every home, only because you drive around, you see oil tanks still being pulled out of the ground. I really suggest that sellers do this test before they put their house on the market. If they do it before and they find the tank, then they could go out and price getting a reasonable. It only costs about $1,500 to $1,800 to remove a tank if it's not leaking. So this, there's a lot of transactions. They find the tank and everything gets put on hold. The seller doesn't want to remove it, but then 3-4 months later, they realize they can't sell it without removing the tank. A lot of people are doing sewer line inspections now. I recommend this be done by a plumber. It usually costs about $300. If it's done by another company that does not do plumbing work, then they can't give you an estimate. A plumber could say, yes, there's clogging in here. I could clean it out for $800, or you're going to need a whole new sewer pipe out to the street for like $10,000. Any home over 50 years, we know what goes down those sewer lines, so it's easy after 50 years to walk, So meaning home inspectors should never take anything for granted. They should put their clients first and remember that they're going to be living there with their families, and the last thing they need is an unexpected surprise after they move in. Will a home inspector find every defect? Will a seller disclose even no problems with their own home? Will a realtor always sell the perfect home? Will an attorney know exactly what to negotiate? So back to expectations. I think that's the thing that I try to get across when I'm booking a job with a client. What are your expectations? I know now, as it was Mark was saying, or that there's a limit. We're only going to do structural and heating. And as president of the American Society of Home Inspector Chapter New Jersey, when I do my seminars, I say, guys, stop taking pictures of doors that are missing a doorknob or a little crack in a window. Let's get back to the 80s when we did what we were supposed to do. Check the roof, electrical, plumbing, heating, the most important parts. So I'm really glad when I hear that those are the things that they can negotiate for, because it makes my job more professional, and not a nitpicker. So if you have any questions, I'm open for questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Home inspection is definitely for, to look for all the major, structure, operation, environmental. But again, what major to a seller to major to a buyer could be two different things, right? So definitely we want to make sure it's not just cosmetic changes or upgrade. So definitely.
Yeah. So as a home inspector going around, someone says, oh, you're going to report that that door is sticking. It puts us in an awkward spot. Okay, with the software now, take a picture of it, goes into the report. But I try to put it down as a less significant item. And so, my reports, I try to list, these are your 4 or 5 items. These are the important ones, most significant. And here, you want your honey-do list? Here it is. When you move in, get a handyman. It's going to cost you $1,000 for these 10 items. I try to be realistic with the buyers.
Yeah, I love your report because you actually spell it out versus other reports that you have to really read through the whole thing. Yes, you read through your report, but you give a summary page in the beginning and say, here's the key item you need to address, and then here's a secondary item that eventually, if you want to take care of it, you can. So it's really, it's a great way of helping a buyer understand. Also help a seller to see what is really the key items that make sense to address or not. So Ernie, that was really great. Thank you so much for your time. Anything else you want to add or mention?
No, I just, like I said, I've been pushing this with our association for a long time. Get rid of these 70, 80, 90-page reports, which just is all cover your ass, boilerplate statements. And, when attorneys hate them because, they got to read through this whole thing, just give me the main items. And that's what I try to do. And so far I've been successful with that. I don't have attorneys knocking on my door trying to sue me or anything. So I'm going to stick with what I know best. And hopefully.
You've been doing this a long time. So continue doing what you do great at. And, you're one of, inspector that, we really have great respect, and also of all the information you provided for us. Thank you so much for your time.